Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch and Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show. As you know, I am the Dude.
And I am Grim. And today we are talking about the album Tension by Die Antwoord. And,
yes, Tension with a money sign, dude, your favorite.
I do enjoy that. So immediately my thing is, okay, I'm probably going to like this because I see where their head's at least for that money sign S, and I'm there. I'm right with you.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, they're all about the money sign. This is sort of an interesting band for us, or group. We're, I think, stepping out maybe a little bit of our comfort zone and what we've done on this podcast before a little bit.
It was for me, dude, but I appreciate your insistence on doing it because, I mean, if we're going to tell people they should listen to something or this is worth it, then we should also be like, you know, singing from the same hymnal. So
I agree. And now we have done... we've talked about some artists from South Africa in the Paul Simon Graceland album when he went down there and recorded. This, however, is very different. This is not that.
Yeah, it isn't. It's it's kind of like if there was a spectrum, it would be on the opposite side of wherever that the music was from Graceland.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think for people who maybe aren't as familiar with this band, Die Antwoord, a lot of people, I was when I first saw it, I said Die Antwoord, but because that's what we'd say. But they are from South Africa, from I believe from Cape Town, and they're
three.
There's, I guess, stage names. There's three, but stage names is Ninja, but his real name is Watkin Tudor Jones. And Yolandi Visser is also, I don't know how to say this, Henri Dutoit?
Dutoit.
I don't know. Dutoit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't Toi T-O-I? Okay, anyways. But they're South African.
I don't think it's Toit.
I guess. Toit?
I don't know if it's Toi, but I don't think it's Toit.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's French, but who knows? Toit?
Oh, yeah.
Twat? No, anyways.
Not gonna work here anymore. That's
not gonna work here anymore. Anyways, but Die Antwoord translates to the answer.
Don't forget DJ High Tech
and DJ High Tech, because he will do some things to you that we'll get into later. But they're an interesting group. Like, he had been rapping and stuff for a while, and was kind of looking for a direction, and he met Yolandi. And she just kind of said, like, I think he was looking for sort of a persona and didn't really know where to go. And she just said,
"What, your future self?
Like how? Yeah, think about like what your future, your future self, what you want that to be. Just be that person now." And it's definitely a different look. It's
like
right?
looking at that picture from Back to the Future too, but. But like the opposite.
It is, but like the opposite. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, anyways.
But I think, you know, they started off and he was rapping and they kind of initially, I think, got their big hit was from their music videos. And that's really how I got into them.
That's I think my first one I saw was Enter the Ninja.
Okay.
And
that was definitely
it's like you'd never heard of this group. And honestly, I'd never heard of anything like them. Yeah. I shouldn't say it like
very
them
original.
Either.
Very original.
And I remember watching the video and just being like, holy shit, is this even real? Or is this just like an amazingly done YouTube parody or something? But it turns out it is very real.
They're very serious about it.
Yeah.
They are. Well, and actually, and I'll give my shout out now. A friend of mine from San Francisco, she, Marissa Poulin, she's the one who kind of like introduced me to him and talked about him, because for Halloween, and we got Halloween coming up, she like dressed up as Yolandi from the Fatty Boom Boom video. I think it was the white.
Wait,
like,
I was like, how she looked in the beginning. I don't think that would be well received here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like she had like the red around and then everything was white. Like it was a badass look. So thank you, Marissa, for introducing me. And we're also, since we're in a time of face masks, she is, I guess, a designer of face masks, and she has her own little side business that she's doing. So anybody needs an awesome custom designed face mask with cool patterns and stuff, check out her Instagram and Facebook links below. You'll not regret it. Lots of options. Right. So thank you, Marissa, and moving on. So
I want one that makes me look like Yolandi Visser.
There you go. With the haircut and everything. Yeah. But dude, so Ninja, he said he started kind of rapping when he was a kid. He was really into like NWA and Beastie Boys and stuff.
He also referenced Kool Keith, which I was really interested in because I think his comment was he listened to Kool Keith and he was like, holy shit, you can rap about anything. Because before that, it seemed like I think he kind of indicated that it fit into a little more of a narrow box in terms of content.
Sure. Yeah.
So that makes me want to listen to him a lot more. Like really dig into his stuff.
It'd be really interesting to see. I don't even know if you can get this, the stuff that, he had done or whatever before Die Antwoord. I wonder.
Oh, I meant Kool Keith stuff
like.
Because if he was
Kool Keith,
if he was that influential on Ninja, it's like I guess I would just want to hear, how that could have evolved from said
how
artist.
It translated, inspired him, But dude, so they met and they kind of were messing around and trying to figure out like what they should do and how they should rap. Ninja knocks Yolandi up.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had a kid together. That was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. But dude, his past, or not his past, his family life is like his dad was killed because South Africa, it can be a very certain parts very dangerous. I mean, every country has its spots, but very dangerous. I guess his brother like hung himself, and his mom worked as a maid. So he definitely had kind of been through some shit. And he does mention some of the songs and raps that he has are a little autobiographical, and he does talk about some of that stuff a little bit, which is cool. I like it when artists are able to kind of put that in their work.
Well, me too, but I guess going along with that, if you hadn't heard of them before or like lived in South Africa, so they're from this area, I believe, called Cape Flats, which is like a real rough part of Cape Town. And I think we were talking about they have this thing called like the Cape Flat Smile, where a lot of these guys either knock themselves or get their front teeth knocked out, and it's just like a sign.
Shows how hard you are.
Yeah. That really blew me away. I mean, if that's like where you come from, I mean, it's kind of like kill or be killed mentality. And so then you got like their Zeph culture that goes along with that, which I thought was really fascinating.
Yeah, it was interesting to kind of research the Zeph, I guess, I don't know, you call it the Zeph style, I guess, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
And, Yolandi, she kind of described it as, people who like soup up their cars and like, rock and gold and all this stuff. It's like, you're poor, but you're fancy.
Yeah.
And, you're poor, but you're sexy. You got style. It's like, people who quote unquote like pimp their cars out, and do all these, I guess you have like this kind of average car, right? But then you put like badass rims on it, and like a spoiler and an awesome sound system, but it's not a car. It's not like a Ferrari, right? Like it's,
now, did you read, dude, kind of where that nomenclature of Zeph originated from? Because that's what really surprised me, because it made me think of what's the Guy Ritchie film with the caravans?
Yeah, Snatch. Yeah,
Snatch. It made me think of like Brad Pitt's kind of character, but in South Africa, because they said
the Pikeys.
But they said the whole thing came from these people who would have what they called caravan parks, and one of the most popular ones was called a Ford Zephyr. So they just shortened that down, and that term Zeph, I guess, was kind of born in the 60s or 70s, but from a derogatory term.
Yeah, which was, I mean, different terms, I guess get different meaning in different cultures.
But now I feel like they embrace
stuff,
it, which you got to give them respect for. I mean, they are just like, look, this is the hand I was dealt and where I'm from. So basically, like, piss off if it's, you know what I mean?
Well, and pretty much that's what Ninja says. He's like, you don't care what anyone else thinks. Like, you represent yourself and your music, how you dress, how you think, and how you speak, and you don't give a shit. And that's, look, whether you look at them, and most people would, and be like, man, these people are kind of fucked up and they're weird looking or strange. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, most people would, right? But dude, if you own that shit and you are who you are, you got to respect that. You do.
I hear you, man.
I mean, dude, I couldn't rock that haircut.
No. But one thing I liked about it, and you kind of hit me to this a little bit, was because I had listened to the album a number of times, but then you said you got to watch the videos. And so the videos, I think they're fucking like amazing and entertaining as hell, because I like how they have a little bit before, like, a story in the video. I think Babies on Fire is the one that really blew me away with like the motorcycles and the car like skidding around her and her throwing a brick at Ninja's face.
Dude, it's so like and we'll talk as we get into the song. We'll talk about that. But yeah, no, right? Yeah, it's pretty great. But that is really kind of what put them on the map. Is they had a couple videos that kind of blew up and everything, and then they got signed to Interscope Records. And I think Ninja said, he was like, yeah, Interscope signed us, and they didn't even really know what they signed. Like, they just didn't, they didn't know. It was just like,
it sounded like they had this, quote unquote deal after that, but like they were getting no support. They got no like money to, do whatever it was. And so basically it's like, what did we sign on to?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think we'll talk about it when we get to one of the songs, but the first song that they wanted to put out was "Fuck You, Linnaeus," which translates to "Fuck You All." Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Interscope just didn't want that to be the first single of the album. I can't wrap my mind around it, but so they said no, and that was interesting. So I wasn't sure if they had a contract with it. It sounded like they had a contract, but basically they were able to just kind of be like, Interscope was like, yeah, we're not going to put that out, and Die Antwoord was like, well, we don't want to be with you anymore. Typically, you're not able to part ways with a record company that easily. So I'm not sure what kind of a deal they had in place, but it seems like they were able to definitely go their separate ways. So
yeah.
But dude, their music videos, they're very original.
Oh, they're amazing.
The production value is really, really good too, and that's what I thought was cool. And a lot of it is Ninja. Like he's one of like the kind of the creative mind and force behind it. Now they have people running the cameras and doing all that stuff too, but he's the one I think who's more or less directing, like, hey, where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do and all this stuff. So
which I think I heard that one Babies on Fire, I think they said they actually went to Johannesburg to do that.
I
like how she called it Joburg, like, because we all have nicknames for our cities and stuff. But so what's your favorite video of the ones for this album?
That's tough, dude. I mean,
why?
Probably Babies on Fire, because I think it's probably my favorite song in the album, but I think that might have been the first one that I really saw, and I just love the way it's shot and the colors and the way it's cut together and everything. Whereas, I can appreciate like Fatty Boom Boom, which we'll talk about a little more with we'll just call it a Lady Gaga tribute.
Parody,
parody. And then I Think You Freaky is really great. It's very
trippy.
Creepy.
Yeah.
But they're all so different too, and that's also what the variety and the originality to do 3 different kind of styles of videos for these songs I thought was really cool.
You're right. It's funny you say that they're all different, and they are all different. I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's like they're all different, but at the same time I feel like if you see one, it's like even before you see them, you would almost like instinctively know it was them because there's just something about it.
Well, it's great to be able to have that style, just like with film, and like you're watching like a Wes Anderson movie, right? It's like, oh, all of a sudden, hey, I know it's Wes Anderson. Like, hey, everything is parallel
looks the certain way. Yeah. It's not even that, but it's almost like the colors, and there's like it looks like everything looks like it was taken on an old film camera, but done really well.
Well, but
anyways,
Wes Anderson's pretty phenomenal.
We digress.
But you're right. Their videos have a certain feel and tone to them, even if the, I guess, look and style is also a little different, or the content, what you're seeing or being presented with is different.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, so the cover is trippy because she's holding Yolande's all white and it looks like she has angel wings, right? And then she's holding a human, what would appear to be a human heart. And I can't tell, does she like have one of the valves up to her mouth and sucking on it like a straw, or does she just have blood dripping down from her mouth?
No, just blood dripping down. It looks like she's taking a bite out of it.
Yeah. So, it would have been amazing if she was just had it like a cocktail.
Hey, I mean, that would have been pretty interesting, and it wouldn't surprise me. They do some. They're not afraid to push the limits.
No,
I'm waiting for their Smell the Glove cover to come out.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be pretty good. But
I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
so go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, overall, before we even get into the tracks, this album, it was weird. It was not actually very well received by critics. A lot of people kind of panned it and just didn't really like it. I think they thought
Rolling Stone only gave it 2 out of 5.
I know, dude. Overly ambitious and everything. And I can see where those reviews would come in and why people would say that. For me, I just listened to it, and before I had listened to this album, I hadn't heard a lot of their other stuff. I think the aspects that I liked about it is there are some catchy tracks, I think, and catchy kind of, I don't know, things. There's some good transitions.
There's definitely a variance of style. And some of their beats I really appreciated because I would have never thought about a beat like that. And not like I'm some expert, but I mean, you just like, my mind wouldn't have went there. And then sure. they come out with it. Now, with that said, I mean, and with no disrespect intended, I can understand why the ratings were low, because even before we did it, and we did this, and I'd been listening to the album for a while because we always take time to kind of prepare ourselves if it's not something we just instinctively know.
Yeah.
It took me a few listens. Like, there was definitely in the beginning, I was like, dude, you're doing this for dude. You're going to make dude listen to stuff that you really like that he might not like. It's fair is fair, but it did grow on me quite a bit. And I think I just started to appreciate it for what it was, which was truly unique.
Yeah. And I think that's the mindset. If people haven't heard it, and maybe there should be a little disclaimer too. Like, this is not for everyone. There's some intense lyrics on it, and things that people might be offended by. At the same time, for what it is, it's very original, and I think it's kind of cool. And I guess it's good just to know that it's out there. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting way of putting it. Yeah. I
think when I initially saw the videos, and then I got into the album, and I've seen these guys live too. And dude, their live show's fun, man.
Is it really? Great. That's cool.
Yeah, dude. No, it's pretty, I think they were supposed to play Red Rocks not too long. Well, last year, but obviously that ain't happening. So, but yeah, man, I think we can definitely get into the tracks now if you want to.
I do.
If you want to do that. All right. So track number 1. Neverlay Kamise Part 1, which translates into You'll Never Stop Me. Now, there was a couple of different translations of that, but in the Sotho language, which I think down in South Africa, there's about 11, I think they said, languages that are like officially recognized. So there wasn't you could translate a little bit, but in the, I guess the Sotho language that they have is it translates to "You'll never stop me." Die Antwoord's, they say that it means you can't stop me, so pretty much the same thing.
Well, which, I'm indestructible, which I like how they list it in the article. But I mean, when I heard that, all I could think of was EMF, you're unbelievable. and they do reference that was like like a kind of just a nod to that, or the way he sings it, the notes. He says, "I'm indestructible."
Yeah. What's the Nine Inch Nails song? Nothing can stop me.
Piggies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is. But dude, the way the song starts, it starts off as kind of like epic kind of thing. The African chant, and it's got this like kind of heavenly synth sound in the backgrounds, and then Ninja just kind of comes in and is just like boom. I'm indestructible. He's got a real it's like an assault just to like begin the album is the way it kind of goes. So, but yeah, it's definitely an intro, and I love the last line of the song. If you don't like funerals, don't kick sand in a ninja's face. Yeah. know, and it's funny because he comes across as kind of hard and everything. And part of me is just like, I mean, I don't know if I'd fuck with the dude, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because he seems a little crazy too. I mean, he's not like he's a tall, skinny dude, but he seems pretty aggressive at times. So,
well, one thing I wanted to say too about them that as you listen more, I think you think about it is, it's one thing to be able to speak a language that is not your native tongue. And speak it fluently to the point where you know cursing and slang, because that's another level of just speaking a language, like knowing like slang and cursing, right? And so they can do that, but then they can also rap in a language that's not their native tongue and do it quite well. So I think that's one thing that really started to think about is like, man, that's that in itself is an achievement in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, in a lot of their songs too, the majority of the song is English, but they will switch over into, I guess it's Afrikaans, right?
And I like how they do that quite seamlessly. And I also enjoyed when you hear them speak it, and they kind of make these like clicking and sounds that are part of the language, which for us is like not part of our language. So I think it's really kind of cool to hear that.
Yeah. And they also do, and we'll maybe get into this a little more in some of the tracks, but it's kind of funny because we've done, I mean, you could call them a trio, but there's two people rapping, and you just kind of like run the jewels, right? Like, and it's kind of cool when you hear these kind of rap, I guess, duos, how they
play off each other
and play off each other. And the contrast of his voice versus hers is really kind of cool in some aspects.
Dude, her voice,
they do some cool transition.
Yeah, it's like almost ethereal, like the way they produce it. Like it almost sounds like synthesized sometimes because and like otherworldly.
It's pretty great, man. Like it's just such a stark contrast that.
Anyways, so then you go to I Think You Freak.
I think you
now
freaky.
See, I do want to hear the version of this on Letterman that I read about, because apparently he was so enamored with the way that the title reads that he would reference it for like the next couple of weeks, which I would like to see that because it sounds really funny.
Dude, David Letterman's mind must have just been blown when he saw these guys and was
and this is a guy who's had like Tom Waits on his show multiple times, and like, no stranger to acts and artists that are like maybe a little fringe. Because Tom Waits is a little fringe, man.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so I really, this is one of the, I guess, hits and most popular songs on the album. It wasn't the first single, but, we've talked about the music video a little bit, but, it starts off, Yolandi, she takes the lead in it, and the song really just kind of builds up, but then it has this really cool transition to, she takes the lead for probably the first third, and then it transitions over into Ninja. And the song really, the whole flow of the song changes during that transition. And
doesn't it like slow down? Yeah.
It slows down, but then it's like this, it kind of builds and builds and builds and builds, and then it explodes, and he goes into, jump motherfucker jump, jump motherfucker jump, right? And it's just, I just think it's yes, he does. But it's pretty cool. But the video itself, and this artist, photographer Roger Ballin, was very influential on the band, and especially Yolandi, and they built kind of a relationship.
Yeah, because I think she was like a super fan of his before anything happened.
She was, and they collaborated on this video together. His photographer. So basically, he grew up in New York City. Or was born in New York, but he lived in South Africa for like 30 years. He was actually a geologist, and he would like take his he'd take his camera out with him on these, I guess, site surveys or whatever you would say. But he would find people in the city or the towns, and he would end up taking pictures. And if you see a lot of his photo work, it's a lot of it's portraits of just very interesting looking people. And it's very black and white and everything. And if you watch the video, it's very apparent that it's stylized after his photography. And so they collaborated on this video together. And now this video itself is trippy. There's a bunch of rats kind of crawling over her. Some interesting
it's really
people.
Dark and like
yeah. I think they're kids in it. Like it's and she wears like those dark contacts and looks a little possessed, kind of like the cover. Basically, the cover of the album, if you look at it, it's those same kind of contacts.
Those are really off-putting contacts. It's like the black-eyed children.
I don't know. It'd be really interesting to see like my parents' reaction if I brought someone home. Hey, this is my new. This is my new girlfriend, Yolandi.
Oh, dude. I'd be worth $1 million.
Yeah, it'd be pretty great.
Oh, Marianne would literally, she would shit her pants right there. Done.
It would not be good. Yeah. So they'd be like, Brian, you've been making some really sound decisions lately. Okay. So moving on from my Think You Freak You, we have this small little track. It's like 9 seconds. I don't know how to really say the name. I want to say like Pele, but it's maybe Pele, something like that. Yeah. And I imagine that's in Afrikaans as well.
I think it's just a joke.
Well, so here's the thing. Yeah, what it is it translates into two penises are robbing a bank. All of a sudden, a vibrator walks in. The one penis says to the other, "Oh fuck, it's RoboCop." but he says that in Afrikaans. Yeah. So it's you don't really understand it until you look it up, but it's just this short, funny little thing.
I'm glad I did look that up, because when I would listen to it, you could clearly make out the word vibrator, but that was the only thing. Like everything else was very much unrecognizable, but that word came through clearly.
Right. Well, here's the thing. One thing, and maybe this is a good part to point this out, is I think Ninja was he kind of got disheartened about how soft rap had gotten kind of over the years.
Yeah.
And so obviously he takes a more of an aggressive approach, but in this album, there are all those like little parts and little skits and things like that. And that's something that, when we think about, Doggy rap, Style and The Chronic, Domino, motherfucker, what's happening? They have all those kind of scenes and everything.
And all the way up to DMX. Let us pray. You get the Let Us Pray in there, dude. And that was so crazy, because it was like the most brutal gangster shit you've ever heard in one song. Like you can see the cover of Flesh of My Flesh with his blood dripping off, and then he's like, "Let us pray," and talking about how he influences children and shit.
I think these covers are actually very similar.
Dude, I know DMX was like our American version of Die Antwoord.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So moving on to song number 4, Hey Sexy. This song has a real kind of funky intro feel to it, almost some sort of like exotic, like kind of Indian beat. There's something weird to it. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but I haven't heard a sound like that before, really. It's just really kind of interesting, I thought. But Ninja takes the lead on this one, and then him and Yolandi kind of trade off back and forth a little bit. So It's cool. It's got some good hooks and transitions.
I do like when Yolandi says, "I'm so famous that the police don't bust me." Fuck this, Yolandi Visser. Can I get your autograph, please? Like, that's funny.
Well, dude, what I like is it's kind of maybe a little shot at Interscope Records, but there's when it kind of breaks down and transitions in the middle. It goes, "Oh, let's go do some drugs, man," and then Ninja's like, no thanks, my brother. Ninja not a no game having cocaine jamming up my nose, brain spazzing paranoid motherfucker. But then he goes to say, "No longer signed to Intercoke Records, drop them off like a sack of bricks tied to my leg." So anyways, it's Intercoke, Interscope. Yeah, I don't think there's any love lost there.
No,
right?
no, not from them.
No, but dude, I will say, building off that, like, dude, good for them.
Yep.
Like, typically, you tell a major label to basically go F themselves.
And then take shots at them in your independently released album.
Yeah, and that basically blows up and does huge and makes you even bigger, right? Like usually you get dropped from a label or something like that happens, you're never heard from again.
Yeah.
But they just did their own thing, man. It's pretty great. So.
Well, and that's why the new thing with music is kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, maybe people don't get like signed and stuff as much anymore, but they have complete artistic freedom to do whatever they want. And there are vehicles to self-release music. It's just, if you can somehow get it heard and get people to, and they did that. I mean, it just, one of the videos I looked at had like 80 million views. That's incredible.
Dude, yeah. I think another one has like over 100. I mean, dude, it's pretty crazy that they've been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
dude, what one blew my mind?
What's that?
Not a great song, but what's the one by Psy?
I don't know.
The Korean rapper, dude, has over 1 billion.
Dude, I hope he's monetizing that shit.
Dude, he fucking better be.
Yeah.
Oh, Gangnam Style. That's the song.
Okay. Yeah.
Billion,
dude, some of them, man,
with the B.
They just blow up.
I know.
All right.
Anyways.
Song number 5, Fatty Boom Boom. Now, for all you Lady Gaga fans out there, you're not going to want to watch the video. So just disclaimer.
The video is amazing in its own right, dude. Like the guy sitting in front of his store with a Black Panther and then a fucking lion. Like they're just chilling in the street.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, I'll just tell people this too. If you do like that video, search up just Fatty Boom Boom making of, because there is a cool like little 6-minute documentary, just kind of about the making of the album and everything. But it's cool how it shows them like on the streets. I don't know if it's Johannesburg. I think it might be Cape Town for this video, but it shows them just on the street corner and it's kind of roped off. But then they incorporated people in the neighborhood and people who are around and everything. And they're kind of dancing and kids and stuff like that. And they're all painted up and everything. It's pretty trippy, dude.
Dude, I will say, I feel like this one is really kind of, I mean, based on some of the lyrics, that this is really about his kind of disdain with modern day rap and hip hop. And I love the fact that he says like, whatever happened to all the cool rappers from back in the day. Nowadays they all sound the same. It's like one big inbred
fuck fest. Yeah. And then, no, I don't want to stop, collaborate, or listen. This little Vanilla Ice kind of shot. That's kind of cool.
Which in some ways he kind of looks like a version of Vanilla Ice that like
I could see that.
Yeah.
He's kind of got the spiky flat top.
Definitely
sort of
more
going.
badass. I mean, without question.
Yeah.
A lot.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a lot of street cred there.
But yeah, and there is the line, suddenly you're interested in us because we're blowing up overseas. That's the shot at Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
They don't go a whole lot into it, but basically I think she wanted them to open up for her in one of her shows or something. And they were just kind of like, yeah, we're good. Like he even talked about, I think in the video that we watched, he's just like, I just don't like her or her music or anything about her. And I know there's a lot of fans out there that are huge Lady Gaga fans, and that's
well,
fine.
I do feel like she will take some crazy risks kind of in like her visual presentation and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like that time she wore a meat dress to an award show. That was interesting.
I do have to say my favorite, I mean, despite, the lyrics and everything, my favorite part about this is like his little thing with DJ High Tech in the beginning. He was like, can you fuck with something like this? And and then he does it. And it's like a sweet beat, but there's like some Pac-Man in there too,
Dude. Oh yeah. It's really good. It's really good. So, then we go to the Zeph side Zol, which is just kind of like an interlude, and it's kind of a weird, funky little thing. It's basically his words. He's just talking about drinking and smoking. There isn't really like a huge music part to it. There's like some some bass drops, I guess, and it has a little like percussion sound, but it's just kind of like an interlude to the song "So What." Mm-hmm. Now. The song "So What." This is interesting. I had it's got that piano beat. Now, is that a sample or something? Because there's a Tupac song where I swear that is used. I believe it's from All Eyes on Me, and I want to say it's a song "Shorty Wanna Be a Thug." Like it's close to that.
But I would guess it's a sample. But I mean,
yeah.
But I like that because he says in the beginning to it, he's like, he wanted to fuck around with some of the old gangster shit. And that kind of has,
and that makes sense.
Good. Yeah. Because it definitely has that sound.
Throwback.
Really
yeah.
And it kind of makes sense with what he's saying. Cause he's kind of saying, I've been doing this for 20 years and, who cares? They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he talks about, and this is one of those songs that is a little more autobiographical. He talks about, borrowing money from his mom to pay the rent. Yolandi shows me 2 stripes on the piss test, broke ass ninja, going to be a daddy. So it's
little baby ninja going to need some nappies.
Ooh, that's good, dude. Look at you, man. Yeah, it's it's a cool sound. I do like it. Does have that throwback feel. But if anybody out there is listening and you guys know what that song that might be sampled from,
please,
because I swear it's from Tupac, All Eyes on Me. I want to say Shorty Wanna Be a Thug, but
which means they likely sampled it from something else.
Well, exactly, totally. Yeah, exactly. We borrow. That's what we do these days. Yeah. So then we move on to track 8, which is kind of a skit, and that's the Uncle Jimmy skit, and it's definitely kind of creepy.
It's a pretty big double middle finger to Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you don't have to do anything you want to do, and he's like, oh, come sit here on my lap.
Yeah.
Just, it's a little.
I just want to pet you. Yeah, you're so cute.
Yeah, grab your little cheeky weekies.
Yeah, but I think that's a perfect setup for Babies on Fire because that's
it is. Oof, yeah. Well, this is my like favorite song on the album. I just like the way it hits and moves. Yolandi, she takes the lead on this one, and I just love all the cool kind of like little pop culture references, Apocalypse Now and Mr. T, and just all those little like, dude, they're pretty fun, like smart lyrics. I wouldn't call them like, as far as they are as like a rap group, there's nothing what I would call like deep and highly introspective or anything, but it's fun. Like, I just feel like this is a fun song, and I definitely like some of the play on words that they have.
It's really kind of techno-y too.
Oh, definitely. And she said, she was like, they wanted to do something with a little more like, I think she said like pop bubblegum, and that's kind of this kind of has that feel, but yeah, I think like you mentioned earlier, they just went to a neighborhood in Johannesburg, and they asked if they could like film there, and they're like, hey, we'd like to paint some of the houses, and we're gonna put people in the neighborhood in the video, and they do. They have that a couple girls like in their spandex suits or whatever, and they're like doing dancing and everything, and then they got
those ones wrestling in some sort of oil or other lubricant,
or that, and then there's the the guy on the bike and driving the cars and doing all that stuff. It's just kind of sweet to see that. I like the song a lot. And I think
like the one
really great
where I think it's the second guy that's going up to Yolandi, right? And like he jumps out the window and then Ninja's looking for him and he like bends down or something and the dude jumps over him with the bike and then double middle fingers as he's riding away like that. It's awesome.
It's pretty awesome, dude. It's pretty great. Moving on to track 10, You Make a Ninja Wanna Fuck. Now that is one hell of a title. This song could rub some people the wrong way. A little misogynistic, would you say?
Yeah, but I do always get a little laugh out of "Hello, baby, you're beautiful. I love you." What's your name?
Yeah, exactly. But it to me, it kind of has the rap star, rock star lifestyle. Like,
sure.
That's kind of what he's talking about. Being backstage and, all these, I think, women and people are coming at him, which is kind of interesting, especially, I don't know how that relationship works if him and Yolandi are together or they just share a kid or like, I
don't know.
I have a feeling they don't have the what you would call a traditional type of marriage or partnership, I guess I should say.
There was accusations from like another South African rapper, I think, of like some sort of backstage sexual assaulting, and I didn't read too much into it, and I don't know if it's valid or anything like that, but I don't know if she used like this song chord, it wouldn't necessarily look great.
Probably not. Then we go to track 11, Fuckulanias, which means
I
fuck
like
you
this
all.
one.
The first song off the album. It's darker and epic, with that piano playing and everything. I don't know about you, but I found it interesting that this is the song they would choose for the first single because to me, it's not as catchy as some of the other songs.
No,
and I think that's what kind of.
But maybe they weren't going for catchy. Is like they wanted to go super hardcore, like right away.
And I think they did that. And Interscope. I guess in the long run, it's probably good because they broke away from Interscope, and then they had the other songs. But to me, it just seems like I Think You Freaky, Fatty Boom Boom, and Baby's on Fire would be a little more. Personally, I would put those songs before this one as a single.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
I still like the song. But yeah, it has a kind of a strange, funky rhythm to it too.
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
I just found as interesting. So
and I like that it's in or at least some of it's in Afrikaans.
Yeah. Well, and then we go to the next song, which in the video, so the video for that actually also contains the next song, which is DJ High Tech Rules. And that video had a little controversy because he uses some words that we probably won't repeat here.
No, but this is what I was gonna. This is my surprise for you. The way I was gonna say it is, dude, it's the 6-letter version of the 3-letter F word.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Because there's the 4-letter F word and then there's the 3-letter F word, and this is just the 6-letter version of the 3-letter F word.
So if people can do the math and figure that out, yes, that's exactly what it is. So we won't say those words here on this channel, but
I will say in that interview, though, I think it was Ninja who said, no, it's okay because DJ High Tech is actually gay. So he can do that.
Yeah. And I don't want to opine on whether that makes it okay or not okay. That's just what Ninja says. But yeah, he does say that he is. So
and Ninja also says the N-word at the beginning.
He does, which again, I don't know culturally and in different countries what is, it's certainly not acceptable for us to say and not acceptable here in the United States. But again, different cultures seem to be able to do different things. Just different words have different meanings and stuff over there. Just like what were we talking about earlier? It's like Zeph, like it was a derogatory word or term. It could be used there. That doesn't mean anything to us here. So.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about the lyrics other than just like, wow, just wow. But one thing I thought was pretty funny when I read is that it says this was an interpolation of boxer Mike Tyson's rant towards a white reporter at a press conference for the Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson fight in 2002. Now, I really need to listen to that video to see how close it is.
Dude, I want to find that interview. Let's YouTube that. Okay. Yes. Yeah. YouTube Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis interview or whatever.
I think I have it actually, so I'll make sure to send that to you because I'm sure it's wonderful.
Yeah, please do. Link it below. All right. Last track is Never Lay Camise Part 2. And this kind of goes back to how the album sounded with the sort of the intro and everything. But then it turns into kind of this, and Ninja raps a little bit, but then it turns into this real just kind of rave, man.
Yeah.
I can just
rave. That's a good way to say it, a rave.
I can just imagine like a whole crowd of people. You got the DJ on the stage and a whole crowd of people just going really, really hardcore. And then it kind of transitions into, I guess, how the album began again with the African man kind of chanting or singing. And then it's kind of the end of the album. So
I think one thing I was going to say that I like too is when they do some of the stuff that has like more techno-y parts. And I don't remember if it was in I Think You Frankie or Babies on Fire, but there's one of those that have kind of a part and it like gets real kind of glitchy and like I think that's cool.
You dig that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, their production is really, really good, man.
Yeah.
Like I like it a lot. Like it's pretty interesting, especially for, I mean, I don't know what kind of budget they had, for this. I mean, and that, I don't know too much about the recording process, like where they did it and how long it took. Like,
I didn't read anything
ton of
like
information on that
about Olympic Studios in London or Abbey Road or anything like that. So I don't know.
No, definitely not.
Nothing about the record plant.
Nope.
Anyways, I think it's time, dude.
I think it's time. It's time to scratch this. I don't know what device I'll use today, but
I think I'd use one of those like knocked out front teeth that the Zeph guys would.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
okay.
maybe the root side.
Okay, so I don't know whose turn it is. I don't know if it really matters. I think we might go into overtime here.
It's very possible.
Okay. All right. Well, I will go. Should I go first?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go with You Make a Ninja Wanna Fuck.
Okay.
And I'm just going with that because to me, I can skip it. There's nothing that really stands out in the song to me. Even lyrically, I'm not like it's just kind of like a song that just doesn't really do it. It's very repetitive in its lyrics, which they
do hit up that hook pretty good.
Yeah, they do. They do. So, yes, I will go with You Make a Ninja Wanna Fuck.
Well, man, it's tough. It was either between that or the one that I'm going to scratch, which is DJ High Tech Rules, because I don't think there's any redeeming part of anything he's saying. And I think, true, your pick, You Make a Ninja Wanna Fuck, is pretty off-putting, I think, to a lot of people. But I feel like lyrically, DJ High Tech Rules is probably even more lyrically off-putting just because it's you don't have any questions as to like what he's trying to tell you. That's all pretty obvious.
Yeah, there's no room for interpretation.
Yeah.
It's pretty direct and to the point. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, I guess where I didn't scratch that was because in the video of Fuck Julianias, it goes like kind of right into that part. And so that's why I've always kind of associated those as sort of together. But I guess looking at the album, they are.
Well, if I looked at it that way, I would have definitely gone into overtime with you on
overtime. Yes.
Yeah. Your song.
No OT zone today. No OT zone today, folks. Sorry to disappoint. Okay.
Nope.
But well, Graham, I think Die Antwoord Tension is officially scratched. Mm-hmm. Well, it was good to do this one, everyone, and let us know, what songs you would scratch, what other albums you'd like us to hear, and tell us about, maybe there's some other stuff that is kind of out there that's maybe some. I would like to listen to maybe some more music that is,
this
I don't
fringe.
know if I'd say kind of this fringe a little bit. That might be a little. Just not typical.
Yeah, I'm glad you pushed this one. I was, I said I had hesitations going into it, but dude, I do think that you're freaky and I like you a lot. And good call.
I agree.
I can see why Letterman got hooked on that, dude. It's just funny.
Dude, it's man. Like I'd be saying funny. That. I find myself saying it, so. But anyways, well, hey everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like, and we forgot to tell you to do that in the beginning, but if you made it to the end, please do that here. We're on all other listening podcast platforms as well. So,
and we think you freaky.
We like you a lot. So flame on, motherfuckers. Until next time.
Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More, that's ... MORE, and the Tims, TIMNZ. Copyright 2020, The Dude and Grim Show.